Welcome to the Geniuses of Copywriting podcast, a peek into the minds and strategies of the world's greatest copywriters, marketers, and persuasion experts. And now, here's your host, Brian Casangina.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Geniuses of Copywriting podcast. I've got here a guy who many of you will know and who I've studied for many years and even had the privilege of working for him for a while. Justin Brooke, thanks for coming on the call, man. How are you?
I'm good, man. It's my first call of the day. Ready to rock and roll.
Awesome. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Justin, and his main thing is AdSkills, which is the premier paid traffic training that's available online. You know, I've seen Facebook posts where people have asked where the best paid traffic trainings are to be found, and 80% of the answers that I've been seeing people respond there is it's also AdSkills, Justin Brooke. So that's who Justin is. But what I'm really interested to find out about is the subject of today's call. So we're talking about YouTube ads today, Justin.
Yes, one of my favorite topics.
Yeah. So I'm interested to learn about this myself. So, what kind of stuff have you done with YouTube ads in the past?
I've done a lot of things. Probably one of my funnier case studies is when I was working with a client who had a kind of an anti-Obama sales angle. We were targeting the White House YouTube channel and running all of our ads on the White House YouTube channel. So that was pretty funny.
Oh, yeah.
Depending on which side of the politics you're on, at least. So yeah, that was good. But the topic that I had sent over to you was YouTube ads to webinars. This is something that I don't think many people are talking about. And what people don't understand is that Facebook, what they don't understand is that every traffic network, you can use them all for everything. However, every traffic network kind of has its own intent, its own mindset. And when I say intent, I mean, like what is the person intending to do on that traffic network?
Yeah.
Right. So on Facebook, what the person is intending to do is to interact with their friends, find some funny memes, maybe see an article or two. And lately today, there's more video. They've been going hard on the Facebook Lives, and now there's Facebook Watch. And however, when it comes to video, there's no ad network like YouTube ads. It is the YouTube, the video ad network, and others are chomping at their heels for sure. There are close number twos, but YouTube ads is number one, and especially for the fact that the intent behind the person is much different. When someone goes to YouTube, yes, I know, look, there's no blanket answers to anything. So I always get these, these roosters in my comment feeds, but this, there's always a fringe. However, most of the time when you go to YouTube, you're trying to learn something. How do I install my new sound bar on my TV? Or, how do I make this chicken casserole? Or, when people go to YouTube, they're doing it for one of two reasons. They're either going there because they want to be entertained by the people that they subscribe to, or they're going there with an intent to learn something. I think we're all probably following some person that either teaches business, marketing, personal development, health, fitness. We're all following some how-to channel of some kind. And so that's where it's really different. Nobody really goes to Facebook when they're like, how do I install a light socket? Let me go ask my people on Facebook. That would be a recipe for disaster, because people will, be like, oh, well, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to grab an orange and stick it into the wire.
Yeah.
So it's about the intent level, and that's where Google beats every other ad network. It's why Google beats them in market cap. It's why Google beats them in inventory. The other thing is with Facebook, they've always had an inventory problem. When I say inventory, what I mean is, places to put ads. They had the right-hand sidebar, and then they went into the news feed, and they can only put those ads so often in your news feed before you start, like, this, it's all ads, which I wouldn't mind. I like the ads. So I would love a Facebook feed of just nothing but ads, but the common person would just go bonkers over that. So that's why they're adding ads to Facebook Marketplace and the Messenger, and that's why they added the whole stories thing. The whole stories thing was to try and get the level of inventory that YouTube has, by adding all this extra video content that they could overlay ads onto. Yeah. Exactly. And so, YouTube has something like, I don't remember the exact numbers, but they have something like 400 minutes of new content being added every 1 minute. So it's like an infinite amount of inventory that you can buy. Obviously not infinite, but
close to it, close enough.
About as close as you're going to come to anything really infinite in the world. Yeah. So because there's so much inventory available, they don't need to charge the prices that Facebook is charging. The other thing is a view on YouTube is actually a view. A view on Facebook, there's like a 3-second view and a 10-second view, and there's all these different things, when a lot of times a view in Facebook can actually mean just somebody who is slowly scrolling slow enough that it triggered the view, and so when it comes to YouTube, a view means that they've actually watched your thing for more than 30 seconds. You don't pay unless they've watched more than 30 seconds or so, something like that. And there used to be a loophole where you could make like a 29-second YouTube ad. They closed that down real quick, thanks to the marketers who abused that.
I bet.
Yeah. So it's just a quality level. It's head and shoulders above Facebook. Now Facebook's good. I'm not saying Facebook's dead or anything like that. Facebook's good. It's just when it comes to YouTube, when it comes to video ads, YouTube is better. And then when it comes to ads to webinar, it's even more better. How about that, typo police? So, and the reason for that is it comes down to learning modalities. So learning modalities is, everyone has their own way that they like to learn. Some people like to read. Some people love podcasts and audiobooks. Some people like videos. When it comes to video, you get the visual and the audible. So video tends to be, you could argue whether it's a better, learning modality. But what it is the more important point is people have these modalities. And so, if you want to target somebody with a video, that's basically what a webinar is, right? Especially today, it's all recorded videos. We make it look like it's something, right? Yeah. So a YouTube ad works better because it's the same modality. It's connecting a video to a video instead of, reading to a video or video to written. Interesting. It kind of breaks that person's modality. So that's all the different reasons why, and then we can, break it down even more if you have specific questions about how it's done.
Yeah, I'm sure, because one of the reasons why, I found this so fascinating is because, as you know, I wrote copy for Mindvalley for about 3 years, and like so many companies, they spend big on traffic, but it's almost all Facebook. It's very little Google traffic. I think there's some in there now, and it's growing. I'm not sure if they do much in YouTube ads at all, so they're probably behind on that. But that's kind of the mindset that I think people will get a lot of value about, all the stuff that you just covered the reasons why that we should be doing YouTube video ads as well as Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook's great. Facebook is the best place to do any level of retargeting, and that's what keeps people there. One, Facebook very cleverly from the start, instead of going after the large advertisers, they went after the long tail. And so the way that Google is designed at the code level, it's designed to help scale large budgets. That was their strategy. We're gonna, because they came in early to the game.
Yeah.
They wanted to attract the Coca-Colas and the Tylenols and the Pizza Huts and the, whatever. They wanted to attract all the biggest brands. And so they built a platform designed to help people scale to really large budgets. Well, Facebook comes along many years later, and then so now there's a long tail thing. They're not going to try and go after the established giants. They're going to go after all the thousands and thousands of smaller advertisers. So Facebook is designed to work really, really well with a $5 a day budget.
Yeah.
Because they want the small business to be able to see an immediate success. However, we all know that when we have that little ad campaign and then all of a sudden we're like, oh, this thing is crushing it, let's go to $100 a day. It crashes.
Yeah.
And that's because it's, the strategy on Facebook is to have lots of small campaigns. The strategy on on Google is to have large campaigns. You want to have one campaign that you grow. I mean, I grew one all the way to $65,000 a day. Wow. I've never done anything more than $5,000 a day on Facebook. And I know there's guys out there. There's always a guy who's done bigger than that, but for the most part, people kind of struggle past the $1,000 a day, $5,000 a day level when it comes to Facebook, where you just don't see that on Google. I mean, you could just go and go and go. So the strategy on Facebook is lots of little campaigns. And so that's why a lot of companies flock to Facebook, is because it's designed to help them see a result really early on, where Google can kind of punch you in the teeth really early on. But if you stick with it, it's a lottery. If you stick with it for the first month or two and really invest into it and learn, Google's gonna, the juice is so much more worth the squeeze. But it's like sitting in the cockpit of of the airplane. You open it up and it's like, oh my God, what are all these buttons? Facebook, it's very easy. You don't even really need to have a course to, you can get in there and at least understand. Okay, well, it says create ad here. It says upload image here. You can kind of stumble your way through it.
Yeah.
And then also because of all the different retargeting, you have the custom audiences, you have website custom audiences, lookalike audiences. It's really, really designed to help in that aspect. So that's why everybody flocks to it, and it's good. It's the dominant thing for that, and you should use it for that. However, when it comes to cold acquisition and scaling, reaching out. So after you've gotten that warm audience, I love when people say Facebook is cold traffic. No, it ain't cold traffic, bro. It ain't cold traffic, man. It's a lukewarm bath with rose petals in it. So after you have done well with Facebook and you've established your custom audiences and your website custom audiences and you've got those pixels going good, well, the way you get even more power out of that is you start going out to networks like Google. And there's everybody thinks YouTube ads is different, but it's all within Google, and so search, YouTube, display, you start going out there and it starts bringing this, it brings the swarm, it brings the horde over to your Facebook ads, and so you can get all this cheap, high quality, high intent traffic to your pages, and then use that lucrative Facebook retargeting platform to kind of extra squeeze out the juice on those.
Yeah. So what you're saying is start off on Facebook. Like if you're still at like $10 to $100 a day sort of range, it's best to start out on Facebook, get some results, and then go out to a network like Google and YouTube?
Yeah. Do all your grassroots stuff. Like the thing I tell everybody is first start with a branded search campaign in Google, and that's keyword stuff, but only targeting your own keywords. So like for me, I would target Justin Brooke, AdSkills, Media Buying Masters, just like my product names, my domain name, my own name. So only target those things. You're not going to spend money because there's not a whole lot of searches to that stuff yet. However, what's good is when you do start driving traffic, that's there to catch them and redirect them back where you want them to go, because you may not want them to go to your homepage, or you may not want them to go to your blog. You want to take them where you want them to go. I helped Agora with this. I saw that they had 400,000 people per year coming, doing a basic brand search and coming back to their website. Because they were seeing their ads all over the internet. And so then they go and do some searches, and this one was specifically legacy research. And then within legacy, it was the Palm Beach research group portion of it, the newsletter. And so people were searching for this, but they were going to the homepage. Well, if you know anything about Agora, their homepages are really just there for the public. There's no sales, there's no persuasion or anything like that. So I just put up a branded search ad and directed it back to their VSL. Overnight, 30 sales a day.
Wow.
And a customer to them is worth $500 every customer. So 30 times $500, it's a good amount of money. It's not in the world of Agora, that's a very small amount, but for some people, 30 sales a day would be, a windfall of money for them. So that's, you want to start there. And then the very next thing is all that retargeting stuff that everybody loves in Facebook. What's good, set up the retargeting with the pixels, the website custom audiences, set up all that stuff. That stuff's great. So what that's going to do is now all your grassroots marketing, you're emailing your own list, you're doing your social media, you're doing your blog, you're going out on podcasts and all that stuff. Are you okay there? It sounds like there's a tsunami.
Oh, sorry. Just my beautiful wife just loading the dishwasher.
All
sorry,
right.
go on.
Making sure you ain't getting washed away here or anything. So yeah, you set up all that retargeting stuff. So because now you start doing all your grassroots marketing and that stuff starts working. And as that starts working, you can kind of leave it alone. There's not a whole lot to keep it going, so then from there you need to, you want to start scaling out, you want to start growing, you want to start making the millions. Well, that's when you start adding on YouTube ads or GDN ads and things like that. And so to give them kind of a format to follow, what I tell people to do, and I learned this from the real estate industry. I was speaking at a really high-end real estate mastermind. They liked me, I don't even know how I got in this room, but they just liked me because I knew ads, and they wanted to be able to generate more leads for their realtors and things like that. So I'm in the room with these, mega millionaire real estate guys, and they keep talking about YouTube ads to their webinars because they're using webinars to kind of bring in new investors and things like that. Yeah. And so they had kind of figured out that if we do a little YouTube ad, and then tell them, hey, if you like this, we're doing a whole webinar on this topic on Thursday night kind of thing. It was working really, really well. So I was like, well, that's a great idea. Let me try it for my own stuff. So I did it for my own stuff, and it worked great for my ad agency at the time. And then I brought it to some of my clients. I was like, hey, I was at a meeting. I saw these mega millionaires. They were talking about this. I tried it out. It worked good for me. Let me try it for you. And then I kind of scaled through my client list because it was just working so well. And it's real simple. All you're going to do is you're going to set up a 3 to 5 minute YouTube ad that is just pure content. You don't want it to look like an ad. You don't want to turn on your salesman voice, your carnival barker voice. You don't want to have your webinar voice on. You just want to be teaching. One cool tip. And because what you're going to do is you're going to target all your competitors' YouTube channels, And so here you're going to come on, here's somebody who was just about to watch a video, and you come on, you're like, hey, today I'm going to show you how to do blah, blah, blah. And they're like, okay, well, now I'm going to move my, because they're hovering over that skip ad button. They're hovering over it. But when in the first 3 seconds, you're like, hey, I'm going to teach you this cool thing. You're like, oh, I'll watch for a little bit. So drop a good hook in that first 3 seconds, and then teach them something. And then, at the end, it's like, hey, if you like this, this is only 3 minutes. I'm going to be talking about this for an hour, 45 minutes, or 90 minutes, or whatever, on Thursday, or every night at 7 p.m., or whatever your schedule is. So that's the format. It's just a very simple video, you standing in front of a whiteboard, or you standing in front of a chart. If you want to get a little fancy, put some pieces of colored paper on the whiteboard, and write some numbers on them. So you're kind of like revealing, different secrets, and so like, today I'm going to teach you the 3 things you need to know. And, and when you see on the whiteboard, there's 3 colored pieces of paper blocking it, that helps add to the watch time. It helps create that hook, that Zignaric effect, or whatever you want to call it in copywriting, that keeps them wanting to stay on and see what's going to be underneath those pieces of paper. So if you want to get a little fancy, that works really well. That's it, man. And then the big thing that I would tell people is, when it comes to YouTube ads, look, when you have a Facebook ad, the thing's clickable, right? You never seen a Facebook ad that's not clickable, and on any device you use, it's still clickable, right? However, you never know how somebody is watching YouTube. I watch a lot of my YouTube either on my PlayStation or my Xbox. Okay. And I always, do this stupid dad joke. My kids absolutely hate it because I do it. I've been doing it for like 6 years now. Whenever somebody's like, oh, just click up here to go to whatever, and I walk up to the TV and I start tapping the TV, like, look, I can't click. They're so
I'm sure that's
tired
funny every time.
It is for me, especially because now they toss and turn. Oh, Dad, throwing pillows at me at the hotel. So I love it. However, it just goes to show that YouTube, the one problem that they do have, they have the intent, they have the prices, they have the quality, they have the targeting, they have everything. The one thing that they don't have is a very clickable ad unit. It's very much like TV. You watch TV, you can't just click and go. You gotta do things like TV. So the first thing you want to do in the bottom thirds of your video, you want to have a very short, memorable address. URL for them to go to. So like, for me, I'd probably do something like adskills.com/free or /join or, /go, something very short, very memorable. That way, if they're watching the video on their TV and they're in a hotel or something like that, they can just type it in on their phone or they'll remember it. Next thing, take advantage of all the things that they have built. They have built a lot of things. It's gotten way better over the years. They've created all kinds of different, they call them like website cards and little fly-in links. And you've seen people on YouTube use them. There's a lot of different ways that you can click on the video. So do take advantage of those, because there are a portion of people that will be able to click them because they're watching on a laptop or a desktop or a phone, and they can actually, click.
Yeah.
So do those, but also have that bottom thirds. And then also, almost everyone knows today, link in the description. You've heard 100 YouTubers say, oh yeah, and the Amazon links will be in the description, and the show note links will be in the description. So you want to make sure that you have any links in the description, because that's where people have been trained to go for a link. And then lastly, the fourth one, my buddy John Belcher, he brought this one in. He's an instructor inside AdSkills, and he brought this one into our channel. You can text 41315 to get a reminder of the webinar or whatever. And I don't know if that's an actual number, so please don't text that number. I have no clue what will come through on that, or that's my secret agenda. No, I'm kidding. So yeah, you can add a text reminder, and that'll help a lot too. So the biggest thing if you get out of this is, 3 things. The modality is why this works, video to video. The other thing that you want to get out of this is, short little tip video, and then with the call to action of, if you like this is only a little tiny little drop in the bucket. You can learn a whole lot more on our webinar. Okay. And then redundancy of the call to action. That's going to be the biggest thing. If you remember those three things, you're going to do, so the other thing is target channels. Don't target keywords or topics or specific videos. The reason you don't want to target specific videos is you never know if that video is active today or not. There is technically a way, like you watch the video every day for a week and you count the view counts and you see how much it's going up every day, and you divide by 7 and then you multiply and you get the square root. No, I don't know. There is a way to figure out if this video is actually active or not. However, that's hard work. I don't like hard work. Instead, I like to just target the whole channel instead. So in YouTube, when you're doing your targets, just like in Facebook, you load up your interests. You can either do keywords or you can do URLs. And the URLs are either of the video itself that you want to be right on top of this video. And I think you should have some of those. That's kind of an advanced strategy, though. You should, specifically target some videos, and you can grow into that. But in the beginning, you want to just, click on the channel and then grab that whole URL to their channel and put that in there. That way you're showing up on all their videos, their old ones and their new ones, which helps you show up on some of their new viral hits.
Yeah.
And so if you remember to target the channels, and if you remember to do the short tip to big webinar, and you remember the 4 different calls to actions, you're gonna do better than like 99% of people on YouTube, because most people, what they're doing is they're just loading up a bunch of keywords. They got one video. They think that their offer is just so good that people are gonna click on the screen.
Yeah.
But if you do these things, you're gonna do a lot better, and you can kind of, as copywriters, that you got to kind of split test the calls to action. You got to split test the title of the video, and you got to try a few different 3-second hooks. Do all the same things you would normally do as a copywriter, but do them on the video.
Yeah, that was kind of my next question, about things like that. I mean, do you do a lot of split testing of those different elements? Do you create separate different ads for that, or does YouTube make it easy to do all that stuff?
Yeah, so for me, I usually like to have 3 different videos that I'll test, because you never know which tip is going to resonate. So I'll try one that is a tip that's taking them towards pleasure.
Yeah.
I'll try one that's a tip that's taking them away from pain.
Yeah.
And I'll try one that's like just a very contrarian angle, a controversy kind of thing.
Yeah, polarizing.
Right, yeah. So if I'm targeting a bunch of finance channels which tell you to stop drinking coffee and save that $4 a day, I'm going to say, you can keep your coffee and don't save your money, and here's why, and so something contrarian. So those are the 3 different things that I like. And a great example of that is a long time ago when I used to have info courses about website flipping for a long time, and I was doing well, so it was working. And I did so, but I'm glad I was split testing, because I wouldn't have known that there was something that works better. And I think that that's something that a lot of us marketers and copywriters, sometimes we find something that works and then we get complacent with it. And we don't realize that there's probably something that works 10 times better.
Yeah.
And so I was doing well, I don't know if I was number 1 in the marketplace, but I was definitely up there in the top 5 of the marketplace. I was one of the top guys teaching website flipping. And my angle and my ads and my landers was always, how to do the big website flips. Everybody else was, really just like how to flip a website, and I was teaching people how to flip a website for 50,000.
Yeah.
And that was working. There is an audience that likes that. However, one day I tested how to flip a website this weekend, And boy, oh boy, did that blow away. There are so many more people who would rather learn how to make $500 this weekend than there are people who would want to learn how to make $50,000 this year. You know, and so when I switched that angle, and I'd only tested like 20% of my traffic to it, I quickly made it to 100%. But when I tested that, how to flip a website this weekend, it just exploded. I mean, our customer numbers went up, our CPAs were so low. I mean, it was just a really good thing. I ended up selling the business to Russell Brunson, not too much after that. You know, so yeah, you got to test those different angles. You never know if people want to make big money, or do they want to make little fast money. And I would be willing to bet that there's a lot more people who just want to make, you know, a couple $100 really quick than there are people who want to make, you know, a big huge score.
And you never would have known if you hadn't been doing that split testing.
Right, exactly.
So yeah, I mean, I think that's a really great starting point for a lot of people. I mean, you've covered how to make the videos. I mean, when you talk about the video of you in front of a whiteboard or chalkboard or something, is that just like basic camera setup? Do you need a lot of expensive equipment, or can you just do it pretty simply and still have the same results? Have you tested that?
Most of you got a smartphone that's plenty good at doing this. I mean, especially if you have anything, you know, an iPhone 7 or above, or a Samsung 7 or above, you know, if you have anything like that, you've got the equipment, all the equipment that you need. The only thing I would tell you is to have a tripod, or, you know, a piece of duct tape and duct tape your phone to a chair or something. You do need something that's going to keep the phone stationary.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to get a much higher quality video if it's stationary and not kind of shaking or moving. And then the other thing is, you know, decent lighting. You know, when I say decent lighting, I don't mean you need to have like a 5-point lighting system or anything like that, or you need to go buy soft boxes. You know, it just means that you don't have shadows all over the place. You know, that you're not too dark to see what's going on. You know, shine some light, you know, so it's a good, you know, so people can tell what's happening. And then the most important thing is the audio quality. You don't want to have any hissing in the background. So think about ceiling fans, think about air conditioners. You know, you just want to make sure. That's the one thing that YouTubers will not forgive. You can have a pretty crappy video, but if you have bad audio, they will turn you off in a second, because most of them are watching with headphones, and that stuff is like zapping their brain. You know?
That's really interesting. It's like, and when we were, you heard so clearly that I didn't realize it was picking up the sound of the dishwasher, and you probably got headphones on now. So
exactly.
So that's how important it is, you know. And I'm sitting here, I didn't even realize that the mic on this computer was picking that up, but it's so important.
Yeah, absolutely. So audio is the most important thing. So if anything you're going to invest in, put the money into just not even like a phenomenal microphone, but, you know, buy like a $100 to $300 level microphone. You know, something decent that plugs in with a USB, has a good connection. That's all. That's the biggest thing that you should invest in. Other than that, you know, any, you know, point and shoot camera today is going to work. The cameras today are just so good. I mean, in the phones, even the little ones you can find at Walmart are just so good. You know, you don't really need any kind of crazy equipment. It's not going to get you that much better of a result. You're not going to see your conversion rate go up because you used a Sony A7 IIIR or anything like that, you know.
But it's a good point about the mic as well. The one that I use is a little lapel mic, which actually plugs into my phone, and that way I just make the videos directly on my phone, and that seems to come out pretty well. So that's another way to do it.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, this is really interesting. Certainly inspired me to sort of try my hand at YouTube ads. I've had my eye on it for a while, and when you broached the subject for this call, you know, I was very interested to learn a lot of this stuff myself. So I appreciate what you've gone through here. It's been really valuable, and I think that everyone listening on the call will find it very useful as well. So how can people keep going and find out more about you and more about paid advertising?
Well, I eat my own dog food. So if you go to YouTube and you search Justin Brooke, you'll find a lot of stuff about me on there. I've got over 100 videos on there if you want to just dive into some stuff. And I usually tell people to Google me. There's a bunch of other interviews, and you'll find my websites and my other websites, and you'll find everything about me on Google. But if you want to see my products and how I run my business, then you're going to want to go to AdSkills.com. We do the free book thing, we do the blog thing, we do all the things that everybody does. There's a lot of value there if you want to go check that out.
Yeah, AdSkills.com is like I was saying earlier in the call. If you haven't been there yet, it's the premier place for paid traffic education. So that's definitely a place you should go. Also, you mentioned briefly your book that's on there as well. Now that's called Retargeting Recipes. And that's a great one for people to go and have a look at as well. So that's basically about obviously about the different strategies you have around retargeting, which is some more of the low-hanging fruit, which I think you mentioned earlier on this call as well. So
basically it's just instead of just throwing anything up there for retargeting, there are different strategies and like two-step systems and using this type of ad versus that type of ad. So that's why we call it Retargeting Recipes. It's not a book that you'd have to read cover to cover. You can open it up to a chapter and be like, all right, we're going to try this one this week.
Yeah, that's really useful. And is that's on AdSkills.com?
Yep, it's on AdSkills.com, right on the homepage.
All right, nice. Definitely dive into that. Get the book and look through the site as well. But also go to go to search for Justin on YouTube as well, because that's going to give you a real idea of how to do some of these videos. So I appreciate you coming on, Justin. I've wanted to get you on the show for some time now. I'm glad it's finally happened, and it's been well worth the wait. So I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on, man. Have a good day.
Thank you, man. See you later.
Thank you for listening to Geniuses of Copywriting with Brian Casangina. To get the full transcript and all the resources mentioned on today's show, go to www.geniusesofcopywriting.com now.